am so frustrated. Why won't the Daily Mail or any outlet really ever look deeper before rushing to write Meghan Markle moved to tears? They print the headline, but they never talk about the moment that those tears appear. Let's watch that clip.
You continue to show up for our family, for fostering you for every child who deserves a chance to thrive. We are endlessly inspired by how you use your voices to lift others, how you lead with empathy, and how your compassion sparks passion in everyone around you.
Kelly McKee Zyphon is on stage talking about her late son, and Megan doesn't seem to shed a tear until a particular moment. The instant Kelly shifts from heartbreak to gratitude, thanking the people who came to support her, including Megan, that's when it happens. That's when Megan suddenly lifts her hand to her face, pretending to wipe tears. Not when her friend relives the tragedy, not when the loss is mentioned. Her tears come when she becomes part of the narrative. That's not compassion, that's performance. It's not empathy, it's image control. And yet the press calls it moving. Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe. Welcome back, everyone. As you can tell, I am very frustrated. The article I want to go through today is titled Emotional Meghan Markle is Moved to Tears at Charity Tennis Tournament in Memory of Her Best Friend's Late Son. The article begins An emotional Meghan Markle wiped away tears as she attended a charity tennis event with Prince Harry on Saturday in memory of her friend's late son. The Duchess of Sussex posted clips to her Instagram from a moving afternoon, which saw Kelly McKee Zyphon and her family remember young George, who died suddenly in 2022 at the age of 9 after contracting a viral illness. The annual George Zyphon Tennis Tournament was in support of the Alliance of Moms, a community which supports young mothers, co-founded by Kelly. And Meghan was visibly emotional as she stood outside and listened to Kelly's heartfelt speech in remembrance of her son. Let's pause here. We saw at what point Meghan dabbed her eyes. We did not see any tears. We weren't close enough to see any tears, but you can see her. She's actually standing front and center. If you look at the footage, she is standing directly across Kelly. She is literally center stage. She can never let anybody have their own moment. And she knew that she had to put on a performance as usual, and she did. The article continues and says she was supported by Harry, who stood stoically behind his wife and offered his support. Meghan wore a sleeveless white belted midi dress. Let's pause here. I don't care what she was wearing. And apologies if you all look at her fashion, but I feel like this is not I'm getting really frustrated with the Daily Mail because they're not doing any investigation and they're focusing on what she's wearing. Who cares? I don't know, maybe you care, and apologies if you do, but personally I don't care. The article then continues and says the Duchess took to Instagram to show the best bits from the tennis tournament, including a snap which saw her chatting to host Kelly, who has been with her for more than 20 years or has been friends with her for more than 20 years and lives close by in California. If anyone's been friends with Meghan for longer than 20 years, it's safe to ask, what is Meghan gaining from that friendship? Further on in the article, it says, and a later update showed Harry giving Lily a big hug and smiling to the camera with the caption, our other favorite Lily, referencing their own daughter, Lilibet 4. I just have to take a sigh mentioning that because it screams inauthentic. It screams trying to show the world that there is a lot of familiarity here. I'm having a hard time pronouncing it. The goal isn't to shout out little Lily. The goal is to show the world that she's shouting out their other favorite Lily. It's taking an event that is about this family and making sure that everybody remembers Meghan's family. There was another moment where Meghan is talking to this other lady, and I just want you all to look at the posture of everybody. Kelly is the odd one out, right? She doesn't seem involved in the conversation. Meghan and this other lady are facing towards each other, and it's like they've closed this isn't a circle. My assumption here, and it's because I've seen Meghan do this, is that Megan wants to focus on the other lady in the olive green dress, and this other lady is mirroring her. So Megan made sure that her body language, in my opinion, is facing this other lady. And unfortunately, the result of that is that Kelly, who is the host of the event, looks like the odd one out. Let's watch that footage. So you can see that they're talking, and Megan, as usual, performative. And that other lady at least looks over and glances at Kelly, but Megan does not even look over at Kelly. I'm not sure who that other lady is, but I would venture to guess there is some benefit of Megan being friendly with her. I want to end reading the article there and talk about what it is that I'm seeing about this that rubs me the wrong way. When the media says Megan was moved to tears, what they miss is why the emotion appears when it does. It's not empathy, it's performative empathy. And it's one of the most confusing narcissistic traits to recognize because it looks real on the surface. Now, if there was no audio attached to that video, it would make for a better presentation. But we hear the words that Kelly is saying, and those are the words that move Megan to her fake tears. Now, of course, we're too far away to see if any tears actually fall, but no matter what, it's a performance. Performative empathy is when someone mirrors emotion to control how they're perceived, not because they actually feel it. The tears, the trembling voice, the long pause, they're all cues designed to elicit admiration or sympathy. It's empathy as theater. And I want to give you a couple of examples that you may have experienced this in your own life. The first situation I'm going to call the office hero. This is a coworker who always checks in after something goes wrong, but only when others are watching. They'll say, "Are you okay? You've had such a hard week," while making sure their tone is loud enough for the boss to hear. Then later, they tell everyone how concerned they were for you. It's empathy as PR and not connection. The second example I'm going to call the family martyr. This is a relative who makes a big show of helping, but keeps bringing it up afterward. They'll say, "I was the only one there for you," or "No one else offered to help, but I did." They don't offer comfort, they demand applause for their compassion. The third example, the friend who performs support. When you're upset, they post a heartfelt Instagram story about you before even calling to ask how you are. It's less about your pain and more about them being seen as the kind and caring friend. The fourth one, the "I'm crying for you" partner. During an argument, they suddenly tear up, not because they're hurt, but because it flips the power dynamic. Now you're comforting them. They use tears to redirect sympathy and control the emotional tone of the room. And the final one, the public advocate, someone who loudly supports every cause but never shows up when it matters privately. They'll film themselves volunteering for an hour, then disappear when the cameras are off. Their empathy is conditional on visibility. The key takeaway here is that performative empathy always has a pattern. The emotion comes after attention arrives. The focus shifts back to the performer. The interaction ends with the performer looking like the good one. And here are three ways for you to recognize it. Emotion appears only when eyes are on them. They stay composed through others' pain, then suddenly break down once they become part of the story. The timing gives them away. The second one is that their comfort matters more than yours. The empathetic gesture always circles back to how they feel about helping or how hard it was for them. And finally, they script their own sainthood. Their empathy moments always fit the perfect narrative, the right quote, the right camera angle, the right headline. Let's close this video out with 3 tips to counteract this performance. The first is don't feed into it, stay neutral. Don't reward the display with emotional validation or overpraise. Performers thrive on applause. Silence takes their script away. The second is focus on substance and not display. Ask about actions instead of reacting to emotion. Say, "That's nice. What did you actually do to help?" It's a polite but grounding question that exposes inconsistency fast. And finally, protect your emotional boundaries. When someone's empathy feels rehearsed, trust that instinct. You're not cold for noticing patterns, you're clear eyed. So when you see a public figure cry only once they're mentioned, or when someone in your own life seems to turn compassion into a photo op, remember, real empathy connects outward. Performed empathy pulls everything back to them. And that's the difference between healing energy and emotional control. I'm curious to know how you feel about this. If you have any stories you'd like to share or any comments that you feel comfortable discussing, please drop them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I drop a new video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you're looking for a meaningful way to support something beyond the screen, I'd love for you to consider making a donation to the National Domestic Violence Hotline in lieu of super chats and super stickers. They provide 24/7 support and resources for people in unsafe or overwhelming situations, whether that's emotional, physical, or just hard to name. Their information is on the screen should you need to contact them, and you'll find the link to donate in the description of this video. Every little bit helps, and it means a lot. Thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.